Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm a guy called Joe, and this is Bootstrapping Tools Community Support, where we find questions and people who need help online and then answer those questions so that they can get unblocked by whatever they're trying to do. So today we're going to be focused on this user on Reddit on the subreddit Sheets. They're asking, how do you split text into multiple columns based on a delimiter? So there's many ways to do this. I'm gonna actually go through about 4 or 5 of those ways, just so that everybody here who's watching it and is curious, like how do you do, splitting text by certain, symbols or parameters or delimiters, that you have every single way that you can do it, and each situation could benefit. Each one has pros and cons. So let's dive into Google Sheets, and I already have the text that they're trying to split up copied down here. So let's actually give ourselves a little bit of space. We'll copy this down. That way we have a bunch of these. So the first way that we're going to explore that you can do this is by using Google Sheets built-in functionality for this. So if you select a cell, you can also select the entire column if you wanted to, but for this tutorial, this video will just show one cell at a time. So this one, select the cell and then go over to data, and then click on the split text to columns option. This is going to ask you, what the separator is. It'll detect it automatically, typically if it's something normal, like a comma or a semicolon or anything like that. But you hit custom, you'll be able to enter in whatever symbol you want. In this case, we'll use that symbol. We'll hit enter, and then what that's going to do is it's going to split it up into 2 different columns here. Now the thing that actually happened is that it's split into 3 columns, but there's nothing after the last symbol, and it also just actually edits the raw text. So not exactly ideal in all situations. If you're trying to separate it out like a CSV file or copy paste into their own columns, this will work really well. However, if you want to keep the raw text and then still split it out, there's another way to do that. That's actually using the split formula. So we're going to do equals split, and then you're going to select the text over here as a reference, so A3, and then the delimiter is the same symbol that we did before. Then there are a couple of optional things that you can add in, but you don't necessarily need it. This one's fairly simple. So we'll hit enter, and then you'll see that it actually puts it into 2 different columns without having to edit the raw text that you had before, and we'll get that output that we were expecting. If you want to, you can also do an extract, a regex extract. So that's regex extract. And what this is going to do is do the same thing. You reference that cell. You're going to use regular expressions. Regular expressions, there's a lot of content online about this. You can Google it. It's really just, you give it a pattern or like some type of like string or something like that. And it will read the reference text and then find any matching things for that. So in our case, it's going to be this symbol, and since it is extracting the information, what you want to do is you want to extract everything after that initial symbol. So we're going to do a dot star, and what that's going to do is give us everything after that symbol. So then we get server will restart in 10 minutes with the whole string and everything behind that. What we can do to make this a little bit cleaner, I'm sure the user is actually looking to just get the text within those 2 tags. We're going to do an extract, a regex extract, and then the text, what we're actually going to do is we're going to do a regex replace. And what this is going to do is it's going to do the same thing, a regular expression, and we're going to just replace everything that regular expression catches. So the one that we want is actually the end of that string, the slash string part of it, and that's the end of a tag. We're going to do that, and what that's going to do is it's going to remove that bit at the end, so that when we're extracting the information, it's just that prettier part over there. So we'll close this off. Do the same regular expression as before, the dot star. And when we hit enter, we should see everything without that slash string at the end of it. Whoops. I put in. I put in something wrong. Oh, yep, forgot. We're going to replace it with a blank. So now we have this, but the symbol is still in the front. So what we can do actually is we can do the regex replace again, but do it in the beginning. Of it, and then we're going to replace that first bit with a blank. and then that makes it a much nicer and prettier version of that. There's also another way that you can do a very similar thing here, and that's so if you remember what we did the first one, we did the split, right? Split that text based on the little symbol. It's actually not B7, we want A7, we actually want A6. And then, so this is going to look like this. What we can do is we can do index so that we only get the second column. So it's going to be the first row and then the second column. So it's going to return us this guy. And then what we want to do is very similar to what we did before. We're going to do the regex replace. And then we're going to replace the symbol with the /string in it. I'm going to replace that with a blank so that we're only going to get that. Now, I'm going to show you one more way before we wrap up here. If you have many rows, right, and you don't want to just like copy and paste the formula down, because that could get a little tricky, and if you need to change it, you got to change it in all the places, and it's also very taxing on Google Sheets. So what you want to do is you want to use an array formula. So we're actually going to copy this formula down here so I can just show you how that works. An array formula, in the simplest terms, takes an array of data and then populates it however you want within your sheet. You can think of like each cell as a position in an array, and then if you have a grid of it like a nested array, it'll just populate all of it. If it's all the columns or if it's all the rows, it'll just do that. So in the array formula, what we need to also change is instead of 1 for the row, we're going to put 0. And when we put 0 for the row, when we're indexing it, it's going to give us all the available rows in that. So it's going to be all the rows in column 2. And then also what you want to do is you want to change the reference cell from A7 to A7 through A. That's going to give us everything going from A7 down the spreadsheet until the last row is available. So when we hit enter, it's going to populate everything from A7 down to A20. The server will start in 10 minutes. So hit enter, and boom. You don't have to worry about formulas on this section. You can just change one thing up here and then it'll change everything. So for instance, if we wanted to say, we for whatever reason want that string, but what we don't want is maybe server starting or something like that. So if we say server starting, this isn't actually going to do anything, but I just want to, not starter. Server starting, it doesn't actually matter, but it's going to show that last part of it all the way down the list. This is just like a nice way to show you guys just how powerful an array formula is, especially on your sheet, making sure that you're not calculating too much. But that's basically it for this one. So we answered the question here, this user on subreddit, on how to separate and split text in Google Sheets based on the delimiter. Just showed you several ways to do it. Hopefully you can take those ways to whatever spreadsheets that you're working with to make it easier for you to manipulate the data and analyze it. But otherwise, this has been a Bootstrapping Tools community support. I'm a guy called Joe. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button so that other people can find this video just like you. And if you have any questions or issues that you run into that you want to be to have answered within the community support, please put a comment in the section below. Of course, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, get notified whenever we launch new videos. We're going to be answering many questions online. We're going to try to do as many as we can to help out everybody out there who's trying to bootstrap their own business and get into that entrepreneur spirit. All right, well then, this is a guy called Joe and Bootstrapping community support, and we're out.